Am I live? Oh, okay. What's going on, y'all? Y'all need y'all to be quiet. I'm live. Oh man, what's going on, everybody? I am going to try to get myself in this frame, but I kind of want to show my TV. Uh, what's going on, everybody? Black Poindexter, Diego. What's going on, fellas? I am gonna bring some guys in as we go along. As y'all come in, hit that like button for me, please. Appreciate y'all. But we gonna talk a little something that I found on the internet. Oops. That I thought was interesting, which is going to piggyback off a lie we had. Who had that lie? It might have been Hookah. It was either Hookah or either Wild Wild Wednesday this Wednesday. And we was talking about how officers need to take accountability, and I found a good one. What's going on, Chief Fires? What's going on, Corey? What's going on, you guys? Thank you guys for dropping in. Appreciate you. Hit that like button as well. We're gonna get into this video. I'm gonna wait till a couple more people get in here, and I'm gonna show this particular video that I thought was. Let me find this. What's going on, y'all? I gotta find this video. I'm gonna find it, y'all. As everybody starts to come in. What's going on? Pimp name Slipback. We ain't gonna beat up on the police today, y'all. I found a good video. I gotta find it on my phone, man. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to drop that link in a minute, man. If y'all, what's going on, QB? What's going on, everybody? Hold on, y'all. I hope I can buy duty belt. She Fires, I saw your video. Martial arts video. Ray Official, what's going on? I'm about to find it on my phone. Let me find it on my phone, y'all, because doing it on this. Del Ray, hold on. Let me drop this link for you, co-host. Gotta drop my co-host in here, my homie. As he would say, pour yourself a drink. Pour yourself a drink, and we're gonna have a good time. There you go, Del Ray. Let me find this video, y'all. It's a very interesting video. I just got tired of typing it in my TV. What's that? I know. I better find it because I did. I did. Come on. It ain't in here. All right, we're going to go female. Hot Tub Tony, what's going on? Everybody hit that like button. Let me find this, y'all.
You're gonna keep on going left. You're gonna keep on going left. Left or right. Okay, I'll put up.
Fellow.
What?
Fellow, y'all.
You're gonna blame me of an idea that you had.
Anybody can jump in this chat. I don't know where my normally what's the name would jump in, but he ain't in here. Somebody join me. Come on and join. Okay, I finally got it. Okay, y'all. We gone. See. I want to put this on my TV. Hold on, y'all.
Hi, a Florida police officer.
Okay. Now that happened out in Florida. Hot Tub Tony. Like kick up dust. What's going on? Black Poindexter, come in here with me, brother. The OG. Anybody else can come in too. But I want somebody to be in here to discuss this with me, please. It's going to be a very interesting topic today. Well, I think it is. Anybody want to come in and share the screen with me? Come on. Okay, so I'm going to take this off there. Is it on my 50? It's on my 55. Okay. No, don't play that yet. Nope, don't play that yet. No, sir. Not yet. No. All right, my guru, you gonna come in here with me? A little bit, y'all. Y'all ain't gonna see my head for a minute. I gotta play this video. And if a woman wants to come in, I want to hear your perspective as well. And you see, it's about an officer, and I want to discuss this, man. And we was talking about this a little bit. I want to say on Wild Wild Wednesday, we kind of got into a little something like this. But when I saw this video, and this was basically something I was talking about with officers, and I'm gonna leave it at that until I get my guy here. Del Ray did. Shout out to my co-host, Del Ray. What's going on, Del Ray? As you would say, pour yourself a drink and let's enjoy each other's company. I definitely want to bring somebody in here with me. I hate being alone. Hey, I'm on live. Shut up. Sorry about that, y'all. They're my bad kids, my crazy kids. I mean, what's my like? Oh, I ain't got. Let me see how many of my likes. Ain't many y'all in here. I ain't gonna take up too much time. Okay, y'all. Let's see. Y'all, I promise we're gonna get started soon. We gonna get started soon. Diego, what you mean? Leave them alone. It's a good thing. Trust me. Diego. It's a good thing. Hey, Diego, hop in here with me. What's going on?
What's up, man?
That's my co-host, y'all. He a little choppy, but he on here. All right, y'all. Well, this is my co-host here. Soon I want a lady to come in because I want to know a lady's perspective in this because it's pertaining to I don't want to say without giving it away. It has something to do with you guys as well, and I want a woman's reaction too. I would like either She Fires. She Fires is the only female in here. It looks like I don't see no other female in here. I definitely want to know She Fires' perspective on this. I'm gonna hit this link again. She Fires, jump in here for a minute for me, because it pertains to a lady. So I paste it. Let me hit that. So what you been doing, Del Ray?
Man, living life, working my ass off, and just trying to make things happen.
That's what's up. All right, we got the Black Poindexter in the building. My
What's up,
man,
PG?
what's going on?
What's up, fam?
Oh,
Del Ray Dan, my man.
Salute,
What's
brother.
up? Salute, salute.
Damn,
What's
you guys
up?
must be cold, brother.
It's a little chilly down here, you know. I'm San
I'm
Antonio,
outside. I'm outside. It's about 50 degrees.
that's cold to me. That's cold.
Let me
So,
see if I can do something.
how's everybody doing in the chat? Nice to see
Okay,
everybody.
yeah. I want to make sure that screen showing.
What's
All right.
up, Gus? What's good?
I was trying to get because I saw her video earlier this week. Her self-defense classes.
She fires, yeah.
She Fires. I wanted her to kind of get in here because I want to know a woman's perspective with this video, as far as a woman's perspective. But she don't want to hop in. She ain't got to. We'll just keep it going. I'll do it one more time for her. She hop in. She hop in.
How's everybody doing today? Hopefully well. See a pimp name slip back up in here.
I can't see anybody in the chat, but salute to everybody in the chat.
Barbie.
You got Diego,
everybody.
Pick Up Dust, Ray Official, a pimp name Slip Back.
Salute to everybody.
All right, y'all, we're gonna hop into it. I wanted my guy to jump in here too, Black Poindexter. Yeah, give me my food. I can eat and talk. What do you want to play?
You got a full plate of food, boy.
Yes, sir. I do some lemonade. Nice juicy
Oh man,
pork
I'm gonna do you like that.
All right, y'all. So I am going to be eating and talking, because after this I gotta go straight to work, so I gotta eat and talk. Sorry, y'all.
That'll work. That'll work. Get it done, man. Get it in. Get it in.
All right, we're gonna jump into this video. I'm quite sure some of y'all have seen the video where the young lady stops her fellow police officer from doing something that she ain't got nothing doing. I mean, he ain't got no business doing. But after that, we'll get into the rest. But we was talking about something about police officers, and I was like, well, if a police officer do the right thing, we got to get behind them. Because I mean, once it's almost like disrespecting the club or whatnot, if you want to say it, you know, and you have to rally behind them. But this was the reason why I said that, because when I said that later on that week, this video came out. So we're gonna get into the video, y'all.
True Butter, what's up? Let's roll the footage.
To choke a fellow officer. Look at this. It's body cam footage showing the officer yelling at a handcuffed suspect and pulling his can of pepper spray. That's when a female officer grabs him, trying to de-escalate the situation, according to authorities. You can see the male officer turn around and place his hands on her throat. Listen to what a law enforcement expert said about this incident.
You see a female police officer that's finally doing the right thing, the thing we're trying to retrain law enforcement throughout the country to do, and that is intervene when you see excessive use of force. So she does the right thing, and I think the sergeant's response to that is even more, if not just as appalling as his reaction to the handcuff prisoner.
The Sunrise Police Chief says that the officer who put his hand on the other officer's throat has been relieved of supervisory responsibilities. Meanwhile, an internal investigation is now underway into this incident.
All right, y'all. We gonna hold on. Give me a second. Let me get out of this video. It's about to do something else. What it's doing. Okay. Now, in this case, what do y'all think? First of all, I do appreciate the female cop for finally stepping up and doing what more officers should be doing in the
Facts.
first place.
Facts.
And for her response of doing the right thing, he decides to put his hands around a female's throat. And you're supposed to be a sergeant. So you are one of the more up ranks as far as being in that position as an officer. To me, if he does that to his own colleague, what is he doing to people that he's putting in handcuffs?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's my biggest thing right there. That's a fellow law enforcement officer, regardless, male, female. That's your brother or sister in blue. And for you to aggress on them like that, that automatically sends up red flags as to what you're doing to everyday, common citizens that you're supposed to be out there, protecting. So, I saw that, I have a brother who's in law enforcement. I have other family members who are in law enforcement. And it's always been a double-edged sword for me because I grew up in South Central LA. And the LAPD, LA County Sheriffs are notorious. I mean, you have federal lawsuits against them, and I've been thrown against cars and aggressed from a boy all the way up through, adulthood. So it's problematic for me. But yeah, that's extremely, a serious issue. And it needs to be addressed. He doesn't need to be put on administrative leave like they did. He should be off the force.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely. You should absolutely be on without any questions asked. And I'm going to get there right in here as well. For him to really get that upset and turn around and literally put your hands around a woman's neck, that's appalling. And then you're a sergeant. You're not just an officer, you're a sergeant. So you're highly ranked in the police department. That's beyond, that is crazy. And they're doing it with the video, with the cams rolling.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling that they still do the stuff that they do and the cameras are still rolling. Go ahead, Dale Ray, what you got to say about it, brother?
My thing is this. So he already knew people were around him. He knew there was body cam video going, dash cam video going, and he did that. So imagine what he might have done outside of work, let's say. Yeah. I mean, look, there's a majority of police officers are good, but you're gonna have a couple bad apples. That's why I feel like all police enforcement officers and things like that, they all have to have body cams. Everybody's got to have it where they can't just turn it off because it's not right. If they can just turn it off, what are you gonna prove? Right. Because there was an incident, I think I sent it to you in Riviera Beach where they turned off the body cam footage. They silenced it out, so you couldn't hear anything, or they cut the camera.
Was that the one where they said go dark and they turned the cameras off? Yeah, yep. I remember that one.
I mean, come on. Like, really? Yeah. That means you're doing something wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Bottom line. And we all got to be accountable because I'm accountable for something if I do it that was not legal or unlawful or hurting somebody. I got to go to court. I got to deal with it. Absolutely. Just like all of us. We're as civilians. But they're held to a higher level when it comes to stuff like that. Much higher
level. Like a licensed professional in the medical healthcare field. If you do something and it harms somebody, that's your license potentially on the line.
Yeah,
exactly. Lose your license. That's how it should be with police officers.
And that's what QB is saying. QB said, make it where he can't be a police officer. A lot of these cops, and I was telling on Wild Wild Wednesday, a lot of them will go down to the next county and get a job.
Yeah.
A lot of them, I'm good. A lot of them will go down to the next county and after they, oh no, you good. After they get fired or after they get released, they go down to the next county and get another job.
Yep.
So it's problematic because there's no accountability and they're not doing the research they need. And then if you got more than I know some people do a false complaint about you. I understand that House of Seeds, what's going on? True Butter, Devil Ray, couple guys I think Big Fish, Little Boat, what's going on?
Scott.
Man. Oh, Big Fish. Why you got to put me out there like that, man?
Yeah. Come on, guys, is a good
I would love if what female I just named down?
Siege,
if you want to, man, come in here and address the situation. And I'll play it again. And I didn't turn my damn TV off, which I shouldn't have did. I'll play it again right quick.
Carbon Q.
Or Carbon Q. One of y'all come in here. I want a female's perspective. So let me drop this link for you guys.
I wonder what would have happened. One, I wish they had the audio. You notice they didn't have audio on. I wish I could have heard what he said to her.
To her while he
Pointed
was
back to
walking
her.
away. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wanted to
I
hear that.
wanted to hear that.
They cut
But I
that.
wonder what would have happened if she had aggressed on him for his action. Whether she would have
Right.
pepper sprayed him or done something, what would have happened at that point?
And by him
Because
being
that's an assault. That's a
Yeah, but
literal assault.
he was a sergeant, so he's a superior to her. So she
Yeah,
just, she did the smart thing. She just backed down and was like, you know what, whatever. The audio will come out because she had body cam, so the
yeah.
audio will come out.
I want to hear that audio. I really want to do that. But they
Yo,
say they're trained to do that. They're trained to de-escalate the situation. And you saw when he went in the car, the guy was already in the car. She said he verbally escalated it, and then he threatened the guy with the pepper spray. So that's again raising the level of force unnecessarily. So
Yeah, that was really unnecessary. We're gonna get back into this video. I
good
know.
Skilly BP Del Rey was good.
what's
What's
up,
going
brother?
on, Tab? You got something to say about the video?
That's
What's
it.
up, brother?
Yeah, bro. I think they do that because they know they can get away with it. That's really the only reason he was emboldened, even with cameras on. They know they got the power and authority to get away with it. So he really didn't care that he was being recorded.
But see, a reason why I played that because we give the police so much slack. Tap in, but I like the female. Hold on, y'all.
Yeah,
Hold
she
on.
did the right thing. She attempted to do the right thing.
But you see this one young lady does the right thing. And that's what I wanted to highlight today, really about her, not about her, the aggressor, but I wanted to show.
Investigating one of their own after a sergeant is caught on camera putting his hands around the throat of a fellow officer. A Sunrise sergeant has been relieved of supervisory duties and is under investigation following putting his hands around the throat of a fellow officer. A Sunrise sergeant has been relieved of supervisory duties and is under investigation following putting his hands around the throat of a fellow officer. A Sunrise sergeant has been relieved of supervisory duties.
Somebody hype up somebody
What's up, Carmen?
Oh, so we got that echo.
Somebody's YouTube is still on.
Ooh, sorry, that was so me.
Oh, what's going
Peace,
on?
Carmen. Peace.
Damn,
What's up,
Carmen.
Carmen? How you doing?
Here, I'm so sorry.
What up, Carmen Q?
What up, Carmen?
Hi, everybody. How you doing? So sorry, my bad.
And,
I was looking at the video. I wasn't even paying
I
attention.
wanted you to chime in a little bit because you're a female and and that's what I was kind of getting on. I'm kind of glad this video did come out. And this was last year, so this is just now coming out to the public. That's how long it's been. But you do have some officers that's willing to put their neck on the line to do the right thing. And you have people that's like her sergeant that's ranked above her and think that he did nothing wrong when she just tried to be like, okay, you need to chill out for a minute. And for her doing that, and even as a female, I mean, he probably has a wife. I'm quite sure he has a wife or a daughter. And for him to wrap his hands around her neck and really try to squeeze the life out of her, that's sickening in itself. So my biggest thing is now I want to, because I have been said that police some of them will take that. When you do that, it's almost like you're bringing disrespect to the uniform in a way when you do that. So I want to highlight this young lady for doing the right thing, and calling her superior out when he's wrong. So Carmen, go ahead. You got the floor, young lady.
I didn't get to see the whole video.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah, you gotta rewind it for the queen. So y'all hold on.
Hi, everybody in the chat. Sorry.
Skilly, what you eating over there, man?
Baked pork chop, corn on the cob, and some potatoes my wife cooked for me.
Oh, yeah, you over there grubbing.
Yeah. All right.
Sunrise police are investigating one of their own after a sergeant is caught on camera putting his hands around the throat of a fellow officer. A Sunrise sergeant has been relieved of supervisory duties and is under investigation following this incident. Police body cam video shows Sergeant Christopher Pulley's put his hands on another officer's throat. The incident happened last year on November 19th. Officers were called to a convenience store along the Sunset Strip.
They say Jean-Bernard Similian battered several people and were trying to place him in a patrol car. According to Sunrise Police Chief Anthony Rosa, Similian was resisting officers. He goes on to say in a written statement, once the suspect was inside the patrol vehicle, the sergeant approached and engaged in a verbal altercation with the suspect in a manner that I feel was inappropriate and unprofessional. The supervisor escalated the encounter instead of de-escalating an emotionally charged situation. Rosa also says while speaking to the suspect, the sergeant is seen holding his can of pepper spray, but doesn't use it. That's when a nearby officer who was concerned with things escalating further intervened. You can see her running to police, grabbing him by his belt, pulling him backwards. He then turns and aggressively grabs her by the neck while pushing her backwards. Sergeant Police is then seen on video going back to the squad car, slams the door before pointing and yelling back at the officer who is trying to de-escalate the situation. Chief Rosa says he's proud of the officer who is trying to intervene, praising her good leadership during a tense.
So, I don't know what happened to the rest of it, but Q, oh shoot, Carb, that's the basis of it.
Mm-hmm.
The young lady felt that the sergeant was getting out of hand, and so she decided to grab him by his duty belt and pull him away from the suspect before he got even more crazy. So,
All right. So to me, she did the right thing. She felt that it was escalating and she pulled him away to separate the situation. Her choice, she did it. The reaction that you're going to get from that is when, like what he did, it's a heated situation. 9 times out of 10, when we're heated and we're doing, or the situation escalates, you kind of out of your regular. That's the reason for her stepping in. She probably knew him on a different level and felt comfortable enough to pull him away. And I'm saying that because of my past job. There's plenty of times where I have to step in and separate people that I've worked with and I know outside personally from a situation because they lost it. Sometimes you're gonna get cursed out. Sometimes you and that person may get into a verbal altercation, but your whole purpose is to de-escalate one situation, and sometimes that's caused by creating another distraction. You become the distraction now. Was he out of control? Was she right in doing what she wanted to do? From my point of view, yes. His reaction to her by putting his hands on his neck, did he overstep bounds? Yes. Should he be reprimanded for it? Absolutely. But again, with these types of jobs, until you're in a place of somebody and you're trying to separate somebody that's angry, it happens every day. You try to separate your friends and they're like, get the hell off me, don't touch me. It's just the reaction. When they calm down and they realize what they did, sometimes you may get an apology. You may get, you know what? I'm so thankful that you did that because I really wasn't in my right, mind at that time. It's a slippery slope. However, other people see it and they just think because you wear a uniform that you're not a person, that you don't have emotions, or sometimes you're triggered by something. I'm not saying what the cop did was correct, the male. I'm just saying we have to remember that people are people. Whether he is, it's an all male. Let me rewind it. It's an all male job, right? A lot of males are used to dealing with things a different way. Then you have a small female step in and kind of challenge you. That's another thing that they got to deal with. Like, I'm the boss, I'm the sergeant. You do what I tell you. It takes a lot for somebody to step out, move past that and actually intervene and say, yeah, you're the boss, but you're still wrong. Calm down. You're taking this too far. You got to look at the whole picture, because I've been in this situation plenty of times. And 2-3 days later, I get a letter, I get a phone call, I get a visit. I'm so sorry, I really need to check this out about me. This is something I need to work on. I shouldn't have lost it like that. Or they really don't know what they're doing until they actually see the videotape. Again, that's just my perspective. It's a different point. Not everybody's going to agree with it. I'm just speaking from what I had to deal with. And people have with me, yeah.
Have you ever had to get to the physical level though, Carmen? Because he not only made contact, I could see initial contact, but to drive her back into the car like that. Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, there are people, especially when you know their strengths. Like, sometimes you can know somebody. I'm talking about in a work profession, right? Mm-hmm. I know that you're good at what you do. These hands are nice, the whole kit and caboodle. sometimes when they're that far gone, sometimes you may have to like jump on them, grab them, and take them down.
Yeah,
Calm,
that's what was my
you have to
question.
calm down. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not an easy thing to do, but if you want to do your job, there's going to be things that you're going to have to do that you don't want to do, but that's what the hand calls for at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to pretty much shine a light on her by
Yeah.
her doing the
And
right
she did
thing.
the right thing. She
It's not
stepped
more
in.
so him. Everybody knows. And I mean, and if you was to do that, say if I was to do that to my wife and they come, or a police officer see me in public and I grab my wife by the neck, it's automatic handcuff.
Oh yeah,
Right.
So,
absolutely.
and I understand it was a little heated,
Hmm.
but what really disturbed me is because, like I said, RGG, I got to go to work in a minute so I can eat on my live. My live different. All right, I don't want to catch you eating on your live. But anyways, y'all.
You also got to remember when these things are videotaped, they're going to hold everybody that's they're responsible. So what she did is the correct thing to do, because when they take you downtown and you got to answer the questions, well, you saw him out of pocket. Why didn't you intervene? Why didn't you say something? Why didn't you do something? She did do the right thing. Now, don't get me wrong. There's also a flip side to that. Her doing the right thing now gets everybody upset with her because she looks like
That
she
was my
is.
next question. What level of trust does she have, like not only with him, but everybody else's trust with her? How
and
does that
that's
affect that?
and
Now,
that's what I said on Wild Wednesday. It's a hard pill to swallow because you're putting your livelihood on the line.
but this is my take on it. Things are changing dramatically because of the camera. When people are put into a spot where they're not held accountable for what somebody else does, people tend to look differently when somebody does something like this. They're like, well, you know what? We on camera, like she has to answer to that. I'm gonna have to answer to that. They're gonna question everybody else. They're like, why didn't you step in? You were closer to him than she was. You know what I'm saying? People are held accountable now, so there's kind of a little leeway that you can play with versus what it used to be when there weren't any cameras and people just stood by and they didn't say anything because you're all part of the same, uniform at the end of the
Absolutely.
day.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
like a
about
lose lose
anybody else in here.
situation.
Hookah,
Mhm.
I paste it and see if you can get in here. I am on the free version right now. I ain't gonna lie, I'm on the free version of StreamYard, so you might get in here, you might can't.
If you come in there to do your job, if you're coming there to do your job and you do your job, not go overboard with your job, it's not a lose lose situation. But again, it's a department that needs a lot of change.
Training,
A lot
a
of
lot of training.
training, a lot of change. There's a lot of people that come on the job that are grandfathered in because
Yeah,
my dad's
my
dad,
daddy was a police officer.
or my
Grandfather was a police.
right. So and then sometimes when you're grandfathered in, you kind of grandfathered in under what they did, not what you're doing, and it becomes a little struggle if you're not strong enough to do that. It's not an easy
Now,
job. It's not a job that everybody wants to do. At the end of the day, it needs reform. Absolutely. It needs much more better training and communication with anything else. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Cameras.
and I think they
my
mentioned
mom
that
was a
too
correctional
about
officer as
how
well.
that their recent training has been emphasizing the de-escalation. So if
Right.
he's a sergeant, he's probably been under that old system, like you
Hold
said.
on, can I?
We do it
Hookah, is
this
you in
way,
here or is it
and
just
he's
black
coming in new.
screen?
Hmm. De-escalation, especially
Hookah.
when you're like a okay, from a supervisor point of view, you're so
Hmm.
used to the old way. It's already a transition change that's
Yeah.
not met with open arms. It's like
Yeah.
our old way works. We don't want to change from this is what it is. You're not understanding what we have to deal with. And of course, anything new usually gets resistance until you start seeing it work, until you start seeing people saved because of the new way of doing things. And you kind of understand, like, you taking less stress off if you de-escalate versus going to fisticuffs, a physical altercation. But it's gonna take time with anything. At least she had the guts to stand up
Right.
and do what she did. So yeah, she's commended. But there's a lot of
Exactly.
people that do that. There's a lot of people that step in and you won't see that because
Yeah.
it's self-correcting, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to see that. So it's good that you are showing that because there's plenty of people that step in and say, hey, listen, you're going too far. You need to cut that out.
I saw
Again,
one a few months back where a cop had his knee on the guy's neck, and his partner literally pulled his knee off of his neck. It's like, no, you can't do it like that. But that
Right.
didn't get any play on the mass media. So yeah, a lot of people are
yeah,
trying to do the right thing. So we have to commend them for that.
And I think by the video cams and the body and everybody, more examples like her, and you get to see more of it. It'll slowly change, I believe so. But that was just one
It
of
takes
the
time.
ones I seen
mhm,
recently. But go ahead, Delray.
I said it takes time, man. Listen, abrupt change is not always good because if it happens instantly, there's a lot of different things that go into effect. So it's going to take some time.
yeah,
But the body cam, the dash cam, and even as civilians, everybody needs to have a dash cam. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
everybody has to have a dash cam because you get pulled over, you get an accident. I mean, it will help you out dramatically in your
yeah.
situation.
There's even
Because in court, cameras speak. I mean, video speaks louder than words in court. Apparently,
exactly. It's hard to argue with a camera when you're looking at it. Not only that, there's other things that they do. They have a CERT team that sometimes comes out when you're dealing with people with mental health issues, where
yep,
they'll speak to the person, try to de-escalate the situation before the police even step in. There's plenty of things that are being implemented, but they're in that stage of like merging it in with police protocol, the health care system at the same time, and making the two work together, responding together. They do that also in a jail system. All of it is basically new. It's just getting it to work, getting the kinks out, because not everything is going to work at the same time, perfectly the first time going out. But does it help? Yes. Would I rather a professional speak to somebody with a mental health issue versus myself? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now if I have rapport with the individual and mental health is there, both of us speaking to them at the same time might de-escalate the situation even further. There's just other ways. Is just implementing it and following through with it. That's the part that has to work out. Now, a lot of us didn't like it because we had to wait for them to get ready before you can go respond to it. So there's time lapses in between it. In between those times, things could either escalate even worse or not. Then you have to decide: do we just not go in without them because this person's hurting themselves or hurting somebody else, or do we wait till they get here? There's like so many different moving parts to it, and when you're not in it, you don't know about it until you actually see it and have to do it.
right.
So looking at stuff like this, I get why people will be upset straight off the bat, but you have to understand there's a lot of things behind it as well that you may not know about, that you don't see. But hopefully, it's catching on. Like you said, change is not something that people embrace wholeheartedly. They like what they've been doing. They're used to it. They're comfortable with it. But taking them out that element and putting them into something new leaves everybody on a, what do we do here? Like, who's gonna make the call? I don't want to make the wrong call. You make the call. Somebody has to step up and do it. It's 9 times out of 10, it might not be right call, but that's how you learn.
Yeah, they're gonna face backlash with any decision they make. So
Right.
Yeah.
it's kind of
That's true.
difficult.
That's true.
That's very
Yeah.
true.
It's definitely because like I said, I wanted to be a police officer and I did go in for the city of Detroit, but I was ultimately denied after my background interview. But and I always wanted to be a police officer, so I kind of have that type of respect for police officers because I always wanted to be one. So that one the and you have to be a people person. A lot of some cops are not people
Right.
persons, and
Hmm.
you gotta love the people in order to do that job. If you don't love the people, then you have a lot of knuckleheads that put on the uniform. Well, it's just a job to me.
Right.
Right.
It's when you become a correction officer, a police officer, anything dealing with that, you gotta love that job, and that's why I always wanted to be a police officer because I always love helping people. So and also in being a medic as well.
Same in health. It's the same in healthcare. You're right, because if you don't care about the people, and you're in it for a paycheck, your level of care is going to be evident. It's going to be substandard or not as high as somebody who is
Hmm.
passionate about taking care of people. So I agree with you 100%.
And that should have been taken care of when you had to take your psychological to get on the
Yeah.
force or whatever part of the job that you're doing. And that's actually something that should be implemented like every 3 months, like a psychiatrist. They have to go see somebody every 3 months to unload all of the stuff that they've taken from other people.
Mm.
these types of jobs, that should be also something that we have to do. Unload what you see that's going on.
But a
I-
lot of times that's seen as, when you do that, it's seen as a sign of weakness. It's the same in the
right.
military. If you go see, somebody, everybody knows it, and it's like, oh, you can't take it. You're not tough. You're not, you don't got what it takes. It's like a stigma, and that has to change. That really
Yeah.
does have to change.
Mhm.
Tap in. He's talking about
Let's
you, man.
tap in.
What's up?
Regular gun guy. Look what he put on there.
Tap in. Don't talk about my man Tap in.
Yeah, you gotta have a love for the people, man. I
Mhm.
really truly believe that. You don't have love for the people, then you're going to ultimately mess up, and eventually you're going to get yourself out of there anyway. But like I said, a lot of these cops get fired and just go over to the next county and got another job, and that's something that they need to look at. If you've been fired from the police department for enforce being very forceful and being very brutal to citizens, then you don't need to go to the next county and be a problem. You need to find yourself another profession.
Mhm.
It's just not.
Yeah, it's. There's a lot of things to that too. Okay, from where I work, you have people that self harm, and depending on the person, like sometimes the only way to get them to stop self harming is like sometimes you have to harm them just to get them to drop whatever they have or stop doing what they're doing. Now, do I sit there and let you keep cutting your wrist wide open?
Nah.
Like now, if you walking by and you see me hit him, but you don't know the backstory to it,
Yeah.
Right.
you think that I'm abusing my authority. But my job is when I get on the scene and I assess the situation, and I'm trying everything. Some people, OC or chemical agents, they eat that. That's nothing. It doesn't stop them. It's the least um forceful thing to use. However, if it doesn't affect him, usually people that have mental health issues, that's nothing to them. Now I have to get to a physical part of it. So am I wrong now for being physical with this individual that's self-harming, and these are my options at this point? No, but somebody walking by looking in can look at it and say, "Oh, that's fucked up. Why did you do that? You should have did this, you should have did that, but that was my call. This is what I know that he's going to open his arm up, and I'm not talking about this way, I'm talking about the long way. I have to do something to stop that. I'm trying to preserve his life. It may take for me to do something drastic to get him to stop. He's not all there mentally. I can't reason with him. And I'm
Well,
not saying that that is the situation when you see cops clearly doing the wrong thing or somebody doing the wrong thing that they have no business doing. That's completely different. But there are situations where you may not understand it. Again, like I said, unless you come up upon it. I'm pretty sure Black Poindexter youth, you're in the medical profession. You come up on things where people don't want you to help them. They want to die.
100%. Yeah.
They don't want to be. Their religious reasons. They can't take this and that, and they'll fight you tooth and nail, and you got to do what you got to do to save that life. So it's a slippery slope. Like you really got to know the backstory to it before you know, just
Yeah,
make
that is
it.
And
Not.
interesting.
community-wide, because of the systemic issues, it becomes problematic because I think back on all of my, interactions with the police. Overall, they've probably been 85, 90% positive, but that 10 to 15% negative stands out so much.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of us. That 10 to 15% of bad apples
Mhm.
makes it, you just hate the whole system or think the whole system is negative. So, um, that's why those bad apples have to be called to account, and the departments and the system has to be changed to make sure that those things take place. And when they get glossed over and not addressed, that's what makes people say, "Well, f the whole system." So, and like he says, I understand. My brother's in law enforcement. He's been in law enforcement. Worked as a correctional officer. He's a federal marshal now.
Mhm.
So I understand that I want my brother to be able to get home,
Right.
every day. I don't want him out there getting got. So
Exactly.
but we also have to address the systemic problems that historically have taken place. People can't just say, "Oh, police are always right," or "They never
Right.
make mistakes." So you have to understand. But you have to understand that they've been whipping our ass for a long time and doing things that shouldn't be done for a long time, and everybody sees it, and nothing's been said about it. So we have
I
to
think
balance those things.
right. I think everybody worries about getting home. I worked in a jail, maximum security for 20 years. I've never been robbed in jail, but I've been robbed when I walked outside and was walking down the street going to the corner store.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm about to say.
you never know when you're gonna get got or who's gonna get you. Like if you could sit here and try and play quarterback all day, like, oh, that's a good guy, that's a good person, that's a bad person. Good luck with that. I don't think anybody walks out their house and decides that they don't want to go home. you
Right.
know,
Yeah, and that's another
that's
thing that they say they want to make it home. And when I went to do the police thing, I understood that if I got in, there's a possibility that I wouldn't make it home. I mean, that's just reality of being a police officer.
my thing. Danger is anywhere, regardless if it's a police officer there, if it's just a total stranger. Danger is around you 24/7. Your job is to make sure you get home safely. You're responsible for you, not for anybody else. So it doesn't matter who you walk up on. You have priests molesting children. Like you. There's so many things going on in this world. You just can't pinpoint these people and say that these are bad people. There's good and bad in everybody. You make the decision on what you want to do. At the end of the day, get home the best way you can. That's all. Like that's what I chalk it up to for me. I'm not looking for the police to get me home safely. I'm not looking for anybody else to get me home safely. I'm looking for me to get home safely. I'm gonna make decisions that even if I make the decision not to go here, who knows what's around the corner over there? It's a chance I have to take. Every day you walk out your door, you take a chance of not coming back home safely. That's the world we live in.
Well, total guy, boy, I kind of get you. No one is signing up to get shot.
Right.
But and this is and let me tell you something. My mother was a correctional officer in Little Rock, Arkansas. So me trying to get in the police department and her working in that environment under guys. I mean, it's one versus a room full of guys. And so if they try to do something, she has no gun. She got to try to fight her best way out of the situation. So when you say you don't sign up to get shot, when you become a police officer, that's part of the job. That's a risk that you decide. When I decided I wanted to do that, and my wife didn't like it, but ultimately after I got done with my background investigation or interview, they sent me a letter saying they denied me. But I knew when I wanted to be that police officer and I was going to pass the academy, I knew that was an option or that's part of the job when you decide to become a police officer. So no, I'm not advocating for no police officer to get shot, but you understand that's part of the job. That's one of the most dangerous jobs is being a police officer. And when you get into that line of field, you got to understand it. Everybody wants to come home at the end of the day. I work with the police. So you telling me they might come pull their car up to get fixed, and the nutcase might. Our yard is not secure. Where I work at, it is not secure. So somebody could just drive up, go behind them. They can come and pull in. They can come in behind them and shoot the whole garage up, just because they want to. We don't have security like that. They work on police cars. So I understand what you're saying. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and stopping violence is part of their job. But they
Mm-hmm.
understand the risk that they take when they decide to become a police officer. Good risk, bad risk. I don't want nobody dying on the job. I mean, like I said, I wanted to be a police officer. Unfortunately, things didn't turn out the way I wanted them to be. But I have a cousin that went when I did mine in Detroit, he did his in another state. He's been a police officer for 5 years. And I check on him constantly because of the city that he's policing. One of the top 5 dangerous cities in the United States. So yeah, I check on him, make sure he's good. It's just my cousin. We grew up together. We grew up in grandma's house, so he more like a brother to me, if anything. So yeah, I understand. Anybody else want to?
I do. I do. I'm sorry, but I just want to say this. Like, when you say you sign up for a job and it's to protect people, so when you're in your neighborhoods and they're killing each other, and we know who did it, and we just don't say anything, are we adding to it or are we helping the situation? You know, policing is everybody's fucking job. If I see your kid out there and somebody doing something to your kid, am I supposed to just go back in my house and be like, well, it's not my kid? Or am I supposed to step in as a neighbor, as a parent, and be like, hey, get up off that kid, or what y'all doing? Cut that out. At the end of the day, policing goes so it's what? Go ahead, Luca. It's just crazy. We can't blame one set of people. We all have to come together and
Absolutely.
start doing the right thing if we want to have a better way of living. You know, if I leave it only for police to do what they do,
It can't work.
it's not going to
Won't
work.
work.
No.
Nope.
We collectively have to learn to work
You see, it's
together.
just right. It is frustrating because you see the problems on all sides, and
Yeah.
there are no easy answers. But
Right.
we have to do something. You know, people talk about defund the police and what that means. First, I don't like that verbiage, defund.
Right.
You
That
know,
make no
it just sounds wrong.
stupid.
But you know, emphasize where those dollars are spent instead of buying more tanks, buy more education and training for officers, sensitivity training, better screening, you know, more community involvement instead of military style weapons. So and it has to be multifaceted, like Carbon said. The community has to take ownership for the good and the bad. When we see stuff happening and we talk about this stuff, snitches get stitches, don't snitch, this, that, and the other. And you're not in the game, you're not in a gang, this, that, and the other, you talk about that stuff, I can't go for that because you're contributing to the problem. You're allowing it to take place. So if you're not in the gang, you're not in the gang. That's your neighborhood that you have to go to. Your kids have to grow up in there. You better be saying something. That's how it was in the old days. There was a code. We have to get back to that code and that community involvement, and everybody has to work together, including the police, which hopefully have some tie to that neighborhood. Not the way it is now. A lot of places where they come from the outside, and so they're automatic. Yeah, they do have a fear because they don't know anything about the territory they're in. They don't know anything about the people they're policing or supposed to be help assisting. They don't know anything about how stuff runs. So yeah, that's a fearful situation because you don't know what's up and you feel like you're going into a hazardous duty zone. So we have to change all that. Nothing's going to happen overnight. I don't have what the answers are, but I know what we're doing now is definitely not working, especially not working for people of color and poor people.
I think
Glock Boy, I'm going to check him out. Active Self Protection YouTube page. I will check him out,
Yeah,
brother.
that's a really good page. I watch it every day.
Yeah,
On those
they
situations.
have
So
a lot of video, CCTV, and all that.
yeah.
Who could go ahead and say something, brother? I know you've been sitting there quiet.
First of all, shout out to the Los Angeles Rams for knocking Tom Brady off.
LA.
That's first off, and then making it really making it easier for the 49, giving the 49ers a better.
Oh man, 49er fan.
That's number one. We talked about it the other day. I just talked more like with the policing and stuff like that, right?
Well, we was talking about if you seen the video with the young lady pulling her sergeant away from a situation to de-escalate the situation. With her doing that, he turns around, grabs her by the throat, and pushes her up up against the police car.
Bro,
what I was trying to do was shine a light on her and how when police officers do that, it's a risk that they take. As far as dealing with their co-workers, it becomes and talking to Wawa Wednesday, I had said this as being a point that if you see a police officer do that, as a community, we have to back that police officer up when he or she decides to go against the grain.
Right.
So I wanted to really much shine some light on her for doing the right thing in a very hostile moment or time. So I just wanted to get pretty much shine light on her and something that I had got to talking to on Wednesday. This video kind of surfaced and it kind of took me back to what I was saying on Wild Wednesday.
So. Right. Well, first of all, he should get jammed up for even doing that joint because ain't that that could be classified as a domestic violence issue, right? If any one of us were to turn around and put our hands on a woman coworker, a woman, anybody, like you stated, we going to jail. They ain't know we gonna cut you a break. You had a bad day or whatever. You better check that because the moment you put your hands on a woman, they ain't gonna care what kind of bad day we got. So why did he get the special treatment because he wear that badge? Number one, he needs to go to counseling.
She didn't press the issue. Like I said, you don't know. Like in those situations, you don't know who knows who, and you don't know if she pushed that any farther. Like she might have been like, "I know him," So that's not how he is.
Right. She did say in a statement that she did eventually did write the statement because the chief of police congratulated her for doing such a good, doing the right thing in intense moment. So she has been recognized by her chief for doing a very good job in that particular situation. But like I said, I just wanted to shine a light on her. Not so what he did. I want to really focus on what she did.
Oh no, she did the right thing. If he was getting a little excessive and she stopped him, then you got to do that. You got to check. You got to police. You got to police your buddy. You got to police your partner. You got to. I mean, you got to make sure they straight. You know what I'm saying? You got to make if they doing something wrong, you got to check them. That's what leadership comes in everybody.
Right.
We
And
got
then by him being a super, I mean,
you You got to correct him.
Sergeant.
Even with
he was a sergeant. You know,
even
she
with the rank.
Yeah,
Even
she
with
was
rank.
the rank, and she acted more mature than he did in the situation.
Rank don't mean shit. At the end of the day, rank ain't nothing but a motherfucking shit on your collar. It don't mean nothing.
You're right.
Difference between having leadership rank and actually being leadership. She exercised leadership. You can always correct. Yeah, you use tact. What she did, she used tact. She didn't say stop and all that. She used tact when she corrected them. I don't know how many times
situation
senior people in the military. You just use tact, and she used tact now with what he did, whatever. But she used tact. She saw he was doing something that was a little abrasive, a little wrong, and she corrected him. You're supposed to. That's leadership. That's what you're supposed to do. And they tell you that leadership is in everybody. You see something wrong, you fix it.
Yeah.
Right? You correct it. Use tact, of course, because of rank, but at the same time, she did what she's supposed to do.
What's up, Norwood? What's up, TK? What's up, Devil Row?
The thing was, like when I was in the military and there was a situation to where rank was involved, I would straight up come out and say, hey, can we remove our stripes to the stars or whatever and just talk, without this? And then I would say, okay, yeah. And then you address the situation. So like you said, it's not always about that rank. It's about doing what's right, doing what's correct, and speaking to, proper leadership actions. You want to do the right thing all the time or as much as possible.
No question.
Rank is consequential.
Exactly.
And see, this is the, and I only reason I put you up here, Rob Turner, was because what you see on TV is what the media or what the government wants you to see. What they showed part of the video, but they did not show when he was walking away what he said to her. Now they played the part. I think they did all the audio out, but when you go back and look at it, they do not verbally let him. They cut the sound period on all video. But the reason why I put this video up because of the perception that we have towards cops. Well,
and I don't know if it's hate. I don't like that word hate.
I don't like that word.
I don't hate any cops because, like I said, I have family in law enforcement, but I have a concern about policing policies and procedures systematically that have, over the years, been unjust. So I hate's not the word, but concern and call to action and making sure that they're doing the right thing as much as possible. Understanding it's a hard job. I wouldn't want to do it. I talked to my brother for a year trying to get him not to go into law enforcement because I know he's a good person and I know what the system is like. But at the end of the day, he went in. I'm glad he went in. He's still a good person, and he's told me, a lot of horror stories. But I don't think there's a hate. Just because you're concerned about something doesn't mean that you hate it. But you need to call it to action to be accountable at the end of the day. So I will replace that word, hate. Which is my personal opinion.
If no good people went on the job, you think you don't like law enforcement now? Sometimes you need to balance out the unbalanced by having people that can do things like what she did. And there's plenty of people that do it and take a lot of backlash for doing things like what she did. Because her life now is going to be, you're going to have your older school people that's there that will look at that and be like, you went against the grain. And they will sit on her until they retire. And that's something that she still has to deal with, doing what she did, however you want to take it. Or maybe she won't. I'm just telling you from where I work. There's certain people that have a certain attitude, and then there's the new people that come in and they do want change and they do want to do things differently. And that in itself is a battle. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it kind of evens itself out. But there's plenty of times where I have stepped in and said, this is too much, or de-escalated, pull somebody out of something and de-escalated the situation just by having a conversation.
No, TK, I ain't at work. I'm at home.
Sometimes you got to be the light in a dark spot.
Absolutely.
And it's not an easy position to be in. You're going to get backlash regardless, whether you do the right thing on this end or this end. you just got to be strong enough to hold it and be like, whatever it is, I know what I do. I knew it was the right thing to do, and I can live with that. So I'm moving on. At the end of the
You
day,
know what? I don't necessarily want the man to lose his job, but maybe putting him back on the desk for 5 years, or maybe dropping his rank or something to kind of teach him how to be more understanding when he gets out there on the field. You never want nobody to lose their job. I'm not advocating for the guy to lose his job.
no,
Maybe put him on the desk for a couple, years. Maybe you need to hit the desk. Maybe you need to figure it out by hitting the desk, and then also maybe get some counseling for a year or something.
To a degree, I agree to a degree.
He know what he's doing. He don't need no counseling.
There's no way in the world that was the first time ever.
Right. I agree with that.
Way too comfortable in having that type of backlash, right? So this is clearly not the first time he's done that or been in that situation. Now, whether or not it was corrected goes to show right there, because he did it. Because sometimes if you get corrected enough times, eventually you'll check yourself.
You'll check yourself, yeah.
But he did that way too comfortable and got mad at her for correcting him. You know what I'm saying? In the way that he did. And I was a fellow officer. Could you imagine if it was just a regular Joe Blow out there?
Yeah,
you want that guy on the street at any guy. You want that kind of guy with that kind of authority and power, with that kind of discipline? No, absolutely not. You need to get him out there, because, like somebody said, you see, that guy, because his bad day could, like you said earlier, his bad day could lead to somebody being killed.
Yeah, that's true.
So we don't. I get it, right? These jobs have a level of risk. But that's what you sign up for. You understand that level of risk is there. Like you said, Skilly, I know everybody wants to go home. Everybody wants to go home. I hear that a lot. Yes. But you sign up for a job, there's a chance that might not happen.
Absolutely.
Right? You're going to deal with all kinds of people out there.
Oh, yeah.
And you might not have any experience to deal with those people. Right? This is why policies like bills like the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act came up, to try to help with some of that stuff, to get social workers out there. And the people use the talking point of defund the police. That's the wrong answer. They weren't defunding the police. The George Floyd Policing Act was actually going to increase the funding for programs to help out. It's going to hold cops more accountable, that they can't simply mess up on one job, get fired, and go to another county over and do the same. It leaves a paper trail as well. It logs them into the system. So if they try to go for another job, like, wait a minute. Said here in 2007 you had this infraction, 2010 you had this infraction, 2012 you had this infraction. You see a repeated record. So you don't have to worry about the blue wall of silence. There's a daggone log sheet right here. There's a database that shows what you are, and we ain't taking you. So we don't have the same nut job. And then he winds up going to a police station that actually accepts that kind of craziness, right? So this is stuff that we ever. So when I hear defund the police, it kind of bothers me, because it's a misinformation.
Yeah,
right?
That verbiage is very problematic. Yeah,
it destroyed that George Floyd Justice and Policing.
Man, I wanted
to blew that up in smoke.
Yeah, it did.
That would have been the thing that would have actually checked a lot of these officers. Now, it wouldn't have eliminated the problem.
No, you're not going to eliminate.
It would have minimized it.
Yeah.
And it would, for people who walked off the job, right? We saw cops walking off the job. Good riddance. See ya. Good riddance, because that clearly understands why you were there.
Why you were right? Exactly. You went there for the people. Exactly.
So, we got work to do. That's just bottom line. We got work to do. This world has been chaotic since the dawn of man. It is.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. The chaos is going to be here. The chaos is here, and it's going to continue to be here long after we gone. All we can do is beat those odds every day. That's all we can do.
And like Skilly's trying to do, we have to give big ups and encouragement to those that are doing the right thing. That's to be on the 5 o'clock news every day.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Can y'all hear me?
What's up?
Yeah, we can.
What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Yeah, that the problem is now that especially a lot of these so-called seasoned officers are running into is the fact that they're forgetting that there's cameras on. The junior officers, they come in and they're used to it. We have cameras, these cameras are going to come on. These senior officers, they forget all about that. They're so used, it's embedded in them, to go out there and do the things that they do. And, when these cameras come on, it's like, oh, I forgot. Because I see that on my current job, with some of these guys, guys who've been on the job for for years, with GPS. These jokers forget that all the vehicles have GPS, and they're like in places that they shouldn't be, and then when they get caught, it's like, oh man, I forgot about GPS. Nah, that should be something that's automatic. And first of all, if you're doing your job right, you have nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, but a lot of the stuff that you see nowadays, I mean, with these officers, is just the fact that they're forgetting about these cameras, and that's a good thing, because you want them to forget so they can go out there and do the crazy mess and hopefully get reprimanded, but not kill somebody in the process.
True that.
Right. And they need to make it to where once they put them on, they cannot shut them off. They only can shut them off a certain place, or have a headquarters where they can shut the cameras off if need. Well, shouldn't shut them off anyway while you're on duty. There's no reason why you should shut the camera off anyway if you're doing what you got to do. You wouldn't worry about all that. But somebody had said that they actually cut off the cameras, and I think it was Poindexter said they cut off the cameras at one point.
Yeah, he said go dark. They were in a situation in the backyard, and they were all surrounding this one guy, and then the guy gives the command, go dark, and everybody turned them off. And then they came back afterwards and said, well, go dark just means, do this. Didn't mean turn off the cameras. And it's like, well, why didn't everybody turn off the cameras then? And they synchronized turn off the camera. They didn't mean that. So, yeah. And you got to make them hold them accountable for stuff like that as well.
Right. 100% facts. And until we do, they're going to keep doing what they're doing.
Hey, Skilly, can I ask a quick hypothetical real quick?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
All right, so say you walking down the street, you see a couple fighting in the middle of the street. They like he whooping her ass, and you don't know them from a can of paint. So you about to go intervene, and somebody stop you, say, no, they do this every other day. It's nothing. They're gonna be right back together. So what do you do as a man? Like you go physically intervene, or you call the police every time you see them fighting, even though they gonna get back together?
Oh, that's a hard one. I would. Man. I would probably call the police, and I would probably address the young man. Hey, kind of, you might want to lay off. I wouldn't.
Because your first instinct is gonna be to get him off of her. You seeing him like give her uppercuts, and you're gonna be like, oh hell no.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, that would probably be my first instinct.
But those are the most dangerous situations. Those two officers that got killed in New York.
They both will probably jump on you at that point. So it's an oxymoron when it comes to couples, because I had somebody that actually, a guy that I knew, actually stopped somebody, and he said the woman ended up jumping on him.
Yep.
So it's these days.
You gotta be real careful.
With these young boys, you mess around and get shot. Trying to, and my best thing now, from where I'm coming from and the way the generation is now, it's the best to call the police. If it's my first time encountering them, seeing them going at it, then I'm just gonna call the police and let them handle it, because that's a risk I don't want to take. I mean, I don't want to say don't want to take, but it's kind of hard, because like you said, they'll be back together. It is what I say, unless something dramatic happens to where she just say forget it. But a lot of times they'll be back together, probably, like I said, once he get out, back at it again at each other's throats. So
what you think, Q?
With to stop him, my first instinct, rubble double, what's going on, brother? But go ahead, Q. That's kind of... But it happens every day with couples.
It's a dangerous. It's rough, man. To even. I don't think I'd get involved in that. You know what I mean? It's a rock, because of what you stated. It could turn on you.
Yep.
Let's just say somebody called the cops and you trying to intervene. How do they know who's the one stopping it?
When they get there, yeah.
Right? So that's a slippery slope. That's a real sticky situation. I don't think I would try to find a way to break it up without getting physically getting. Hey, what's going on? Everybody cool? Something like that. Something to kind of de-escalate. You know what I mean? Versus, yo, get off of me. Because you don't want to add any kind of level of aggression to what's already aggressive.
Yeah.
Can you highlight what Coy said? Winning accountability and not co-signing bad behavior is not hate.
Coy, where you at? Oh, okay.
Oh, not even close. Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah,
facts.
it's true.
That's facts.
Like Hot Tub Tony was saying the other day, I think it was on your chat, that the men have to step up in the neighborhood when you have domestic problems like that. That's one of the things that will actually help, because as a man, other men come up and separate him and be like, "Listen, let's go for a walk.
Yep.
Let's
Yeah.
let's separate y'all two for a minute." And even if the women come in and be like, "Listen, come inside here and calm down. You calm them.
Yeah, somebody
Calm
will
down."
grab her, take her
Control.
somewhere, say, "Yo, come on, young blood, let's go take a
Yep.
walk." That's all it was.
Right. Everything don't have to be call the police if you don't trust them like that. If you don't want them in your neighborhood, self policing, that takes a lot. A lot of responsibility now falls on you if that's what you're going to take, because like you said, you could step in with the two of them fighting, and now all of a sudden they turn on you. Now you got a lawsuit because you knocked her husband jaw loose for putting his hands on her.
Right.
She's still back with him. You
Then
see,
they'll sue you. Then they can sue you.
You
They
could
can
also
probably
be
sue you.
you also
That'd be a
get
civil
criminally
suit.
charged.
Yeah. For
So
jumping on him.
like I said, you have to find a way to de-escalate it without getting more aggressive. You have to take a non-aggressive approach. And like Todd told you, it had to be a group of us together
Yeah,
to make that move. Like, hey, bro, let's talk to you for a second. Hey, sis, let's talk. Let's talk.
yeah.
Everything good?
Community has to jump in. Yeah,
And that's it. It's not one, and you said not be aggressive.
and the
Yeah,
more people see that
one-on-one
behavior,
probably escalate.
yeah, the
That's
more
all.
they see that behavior, the more they get used to it. They're used to the community coming in and
I don't know,
intervening and
Charles.
saying and doing that kind of stuff. So
hmm
you got to troll.
You got to troll.
I don't know. I don't. Y'all know what? I'm sorry. I don't pay attention to. I'm paying attention to people that I know. So a troll, they'll probably get in here real easy because I'm so used to. I'm looking at for two-way family. So I don't I don't pay all that no attention really, to tell y'all the truth. So if they are,
Oh,
well,
it's a bot. I see it.
how you doing today? But
It's a Russian bot or something.
we keep on going.
I'm trying to be a little bit more, I'm being a little more cognizant on people's lives, snapping on trolls and all that stuff. So,
TK say I definitely mind my business after working for 911 for so long.
I can imagine.
You must have been a dispatcher or something.
I can imagine the phone calls you got.
Yep.
Working in healthcare, EMT, it's the same kind of thing. A lot of times you roll up on a situation trying to help people and you become the target, just trying to, take care of somebody's injuries, this, that, and the other. So you have to, assess those situations, get that pulse of the situation first, security, OPSEC, make sure that's secure first before you intervene. If you get to a situation, you kind of feel that
I figured
level of crazy, you
Mhm.
kind of have to step off until it gets to a level where, hey, I have to intervene at this point. But you have to be situationally aware and be aware of your level of skill in handling the situation if it escalates. Don't put yourself in danger necessarily, but be ready to react if you can.
Black Point didn't they stop a while ago anything that's violent, or y'all get a call, anything that's violent, don't y'all usually have to wait for the police to come?
Police to clear the area. That's how it is now. Before you would go into zones, hot zones. Before now it's like they pre-state you outside the zone. Please go in, and they have to give you the all clear to go into the area. So, which is operationally more secure. Sometimes it doesn't turn out well for the patients because you have that increased lag time now. You're not getting on site because every minute counts when you have certain injuries. So, outcomes can be affected, but again, you don't want to endanger personnel entering those hot zones. So, it's a necessary evil.
Nasty world, man.
Yeah. Well, y'all, I'm about to we over an hour. I appreciate the panel coming in, man, and chopping it up with me, my family. I do want to say the reason for that video is to enlighten people that we do have officers that are willing to take that sacrifice to correct a fellow officer when they're wrong.
Right.
Thanks.
I thank her for her service. I thank her for doing the right thing. She didn't have to do that, but she felt in her heart that that was the right thing to do. So we should appreciate her for doing the right thing. Black Poindexter, Carbon, Gun and Hook.
Yeah.
Dang, I forgot him. Tap
Delray
In,
Dan.
and
Your man Delray Dan.
Delray.
El Ray, my co-host, and Oh,
Ray official, man.
no, yeah, Ray Official.
Got Ray Official in there.
Forgive me, Ray Official. I do apologize. Don't
That's
don't
all
charge
right,
towards
man. I
my
don't
heart.
jump on here that often.
So,
Good to see you, bro.
but man, I thank you guys for coming in, chopping it up with me and Del Ray. We do appreciate you
Yes, sir.
guys.
For
I do
sure.
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
everybody spending their time in
Real
front of the
quick.
computer to listen to me and
Mhm.
Del Ray do a little talk.
TK, I'm sorry, TK. I'm gonna have the information for you on Monday. I just got your message. I'm sorry.
Oh, you good?
Okay.
I don't know if is what's the name going on live after me?
I think RGG is supposed to be going on.
RDG, yeah.
8 o'clock.
Okay. So everybody at 8 o'clock, go check out the big homie. Go check out the Godfather, man, who has made this all possible for us to come together, chop it up, and enjoy each other's company. Go over there at 8 o'clock, show him some love. Wednesdays, Wild Wild Wednesday, go join my buddy Gershon Juice and Tackleberry Bug on Wednesdays. Hookah on She Shenanigans, if am I correct?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, it'll be on Saturday, 7 o'clock. I don't know if they're doing it this weekend, but there could possibly be a freestyle, one of these freestyle joints coming up. Possibly maybe doing something live with a donation giveaway tomorrow, depending if Jay the Shooter is doing Motivational Mondays tomorrow. I know he's been under the weather, trying to relax. So if he's not going live tomorrow, I'll be doing a live tomorrow freestyle, but I'll be giving a hookah away. So donations.
You hear that? I forgot about Jay, but check out Jay the Shooter as well. When did he come on, Hookah?
Mondays at 7 o'clock.
Check him
Usually.
out.
Motivational Mondays.
Motivational Mondays. Yep.
Who else was I was just thinking of somebody else.
Survival Saturdays, MHP.
Survival Saturday, that's what it was.
MHP Survival Saturday.
You got some very knowledgeable people over there, Carbon Q, Black Point Dexter, and the big homie Ben Shooting.
Wild Wild Wednesday.
I did Wild Wednesday.
Wild
Wednesday. Who else?
She Shenanigans. You did that. Are you still doing that?
It's right now. So Paul, I gotta get my boy Dre, see if we can do some more topics of discussion. But right now, it's on hold.
Okay.
So everybody go check everybody out. Everybody support everyone and one another. I do appreciate you guys coming and listening to my knucklehead self.
Yes, sir.
On Sundays and I enjoy doing this. And check everybody else out, man. I'm about to get up out of here. Love each and every one of you guys. Everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out with me and Dale Ray today. As he would say, pour yourself a drink and enjoy yourself. Get back and forth to work safe this week. Don't put yourself in no very bad situations. Think, be aware when you're getting out your car, and all that good stuff. So, bye bye. Love you guys.
Hey.
Later.
Bye.